So we will start in a seated Sukhasana pose. Anywhere is on your mat is fine. And look down at your feet and notice which foot is in front. And see if you can settle through those sits bones, maybe a little swaying side to side. Closing your eyes, sitting up nice and tall, and just taking in that nice, cool sip of air. Filling all the way up, and then exhale, releasing. Full sip of air. Till you can't fill up anymore. Maybe just pause at the top of that breath and then slowly let that breath out. And then let's just take one hand to the heart space and one hand to the low belly. We want to make sure that we're really getting that full breath in. So see if as you inhale, you can let that belly expand. So inhale, fill the belly, not just the chest. Then the rib cage and then that heart space, and just sipping in as much air as you can hold, pausing at the top of that breath. And then just as you had just a little pinprick, let that breath out nice and slow and steady. Maybe even just hear a little hissing sound coming from the back of your throat, like a balloon deflating. We're going to be doing 2 more of these breaths. So inhale, fill all the way up, belly, rib cage, heart space, all the way up to the collarbones. Hold that breath. Let's just hold that breath for 2 counts. 1, 2. We're going to let that breath out for 8 counts. Good work. And then lowering the hands to the top of the knees. Just take a couple of normal, comfortable breaths while I enjoy the cool breeze. And then we're just going to begin to move through cat and cow. So a seated cat and cow. Inhale, lift the heart. Extend the neck. Maybe lift the chin. And maybe just sweep those arms back behind you. And then on your exhale, round the spine. Tuck the chin. Draw the navel to the spine. Seated cat pose. And inhale. Reach back, opening the heart space, extending the spine. And exhale, rounding, letting that breath out. Use your core to kind of push in against that diaphragm to release all the breath. And then inhale again, reach back. Extend to the fingertips and exhale, round. Perfect. All right. We're going to do just a little forward fold. So just take your fingertips really lightly to the front of your legs. And again, we noticed which leg is in front because we'll do this on both sides. But see if you can take your hips and lean into this forward fold. And when you feel like your hips aren't hinging anymore, then just walk those fingertips out And maybe soften up the elbows and just let your head hang here in your forward fold. Release any tension that's in the neck and in the shoulders. Maybe notice, I have noticed that my left sits bones is just kind of creeped up off the mat just a little bit. See if you can ground back down. It might just depend on which leg is crossed in front. And then inhale, walk yourself up. And we're just going to change the cross of the leg. We've got a wonderful breeze going here. So I'm feeling really good about my decision to be outside so far. Again, just kind of hinging. So your pelvic bone is reaching forward towards those legs. You're leading with the heart and you're finding that hinge first. And then when you're not hinging anymore, then just soften. Maybe walk the arms forward, maybe fold down to the forearms, and then just let the head hang heavy. So you're getting a little stretch in the back of the neck, releasing any tension in the shoulders. And because we changed the cross of the legs, just kind of notice how this might feel a little different in the hip bones. Make sure that you can kind of just ground through those hip bones. And then we're going to come on up. Perfect. And then take your block, bring it over to either side. I'm going to bring it over to my left and start to come on down to your forearm. And then anchor this right sitting bone or the opposite sitting bone to the mat. Just kind of lean here for a moment, kind of feeling the stretch in the side body. And then on your next inhale, start to sweep that right arm up, extend to the fingertips, and then let that arm go all the way along next to your ear. So this is the point on Friday when my AirPod fell out of my ear. So far so good. I glued it in. All right, on your inhale, come on up. And then on that same side, if you're on the left like I was, we're gonna just twist to the left. So you can take this block and walk it behind you if you'd like, because I would like you to stay up nice and tall here. Don't lean back into that hand, but gently look over your left shoulder. And you can use your right hand just as a little leverage to twist a little bit further. One more breath here. Full sip of air, and then exhale. Take that block with you, and we'll set it on to the other side. So we're going to switch the cross of our legs again, this other hip, and bring your forearm down to the block. So I think this is always a little tricky. I think when we initially start to lean over, at least for me, this opposite hip comes up. So it's a real trick to lengthen this sideways and root this opposite sit bone all the way down to the mat. And then let's inhale, reach up, and exhale, side bend stretch. You're really just getting as much length on this left side body as possible. Believe it or not, that's going to help our twist. All right, on your next inhale, you go ahead and inhale, come on up. And then we're going to twist to that same side. So to the right, and maybe just walk that block back behind you. So that just encourages us to stay lifted nice and tall through the crown of the head. And just get a twist going here. Just as deep as you can. Stay rooted through both sits bones. One more full breath. Inhale and exhale, coming back over. Awesome. All right, we're going to do a little bit of shoulder work today. So we're going to take our arms out nice and wide and extend the fingertips back as if you were preventing the walls from closing in on you. And then take your right hand across your body and hook it with your left arm. But keep your shoulders facing forward. Don't allow that twist to occur. And if you want, you can take the hand to kind of the upper arm and just give that shoulder a little extra stretch. So this is getting into the tricep. And then inhale, reach wide, and we'll switch sides, taking that left arm across, hooking with the right. Deep inhale. You can add that little stretch to the tricep. Try not to twist, so just don't allow the pull to be so much that you're actually twisting in the torso. Awesome. Okay, go ahead and shake that out. Maybe roll the shoulders a few times. Awesome. Okay. I did this in Saturday's class where actually we did this standing, but we're going to do it seated today. So let's start out with a little loop in our strap while we're seated comfortably. Taking that D-ring if you have one. If you're using any other type of strap, you can maybe knot the end to create a loop. And then we're going to, I'm going to turn around just to kind of demonstrate. We're just going to take the open side of that strap up towards the sky and then bend the elbow and then seat that shoulder right into the joint here, sitting up nice and tall. And then take that left arm around, find your strap. So we're not using that loop yet. Hopefully you're not way down here. And then just maybe start to walk your hand a little closer to the top hand. If you can hook your fingers, great. If not, just hold on to the strap. Keep the back nice and tall. We're just getting a little stretch and rotation in the shoulder joints. Deep breath, filling the rib cage, letting that breath out. And then release the strap, take that right arm up to the sky. We'll switch sides, bending the elbow, feeding the shoulder into the joint. Sitting up nice and tall and take that right arm around your back, find the strap. So here you might find quite a bit of difference between the two shoulders. Maybe you're closer, hands are closer on one side than the other. Not necessary to bind the fingers unless that's something that's in your wheelhouse. Full breath. And then go ahead and release. Shake the arms down. Awesome. Okay, take that strap to the top of your mat. And we're going to come on to hands and knees. And press the tops of the feet to the mat. And we're just going to move here from child's pose, root the hips back. And then on your inhale, come on up to that low plank. And exhale back. Child's pose, maybe just a couple of rocks here back and forth from low plank. Turn on that core. Exhale back. Child's pose, forehead comes down to the mat. And then one more time, make your way out to that low plank and then slowly lower. Squeeze those elbows in towards your rib cage and come all the way down onto your belly. And then we're going to come on up from there to our forearms for Sphinx pose. So hopefully we have that strap nearby. We're going to take the left hand across to our right elbow, and we're going to take a hold of the strap, bend that right knee, and just slip that strap over your foot. So this is going to be a little shoulder work here, a little different than just grabbing a hold of our foot. So a lot of times we use that strap because we can't reach our foot. This time we're going to use it to kind of incorporate a little more shoulder work. So you're holding this strap palm up like you were a waitress, and then you're going to start to rotate that elbow away out to the side, and then slowly rotate that elbow forward, and then start to kick the foot into the strap. Now you can stay here, lift through the chest, lift through the heart. And just an option here, if you want to come into a full half bow, you can raise that left arm, you can raise that left leg, feel that back working. Oh yeah. And then exhale, carefully release that foot. Keep the strap with you. We're going to come all the way down onto our belly and drape the arms alongside of your hips. So we want to sag through these shoulders. That was a bit of shoulder work, was a bit of back work. Go ahead and bend the knees and windshield wipe the shins from side to side. Release that low back. And then next inhale, we're going to come on back up to our Sphinx pose. So press through the tops of the thighs, the tops of the feet. Lift through that heart. Pick the belly up off the mat just a little bit. Take the right hand over to that left elbow. Grab a hold of your strap. Loop it onto this left foot. So then you're just sliding in that strap, palm up, and then you're going to rotate that elbow first out to the side, and then point the elbow forward. So there's just a little slight push of the foot into that strap. Now you can stay right here, lifting the chest and the heart, keeping this forearm down for support. Or you can reach that right arm forward and kick that right leg up. Full half bow. We're going to be relying on our muscle memory when we come into balance today to recall this movement. Go ahead and release everything. Unhook the strap and come on down again, draping your hands alongside of you, and just take a couple of breaths here. We want to use that breath to fill up the back body. Expand the rib cage as the ribs wrap all the way around towards the spine. And then we'll take our hands alongside of our chest. We're going to press all the way back for child's pose. Oh yeah. So this is a great stretch for the back after those back bends. And then on your next inhale, come on up to hands and knees. If you want, you can take that block forward. And we're going to step the right foot next to that right hand. So just coming into a nice lunge. If you want, you can use that block underneath the left hand just to bring the ground a little closer. You can tuck the toes under on that left foot and raise the knee up. If you want to engage that back leg a little bit more. And then let's just take a twist to the right. Press out of that left shoulder, whether it's on the block or not. Knee can be down or up, your choice. And just a really nice big twist open. Thankful that I'm under my little umbrella here. All right, exhale, come on down. Go ahead and dip that left knee down And we're gonna bend that left knee. Now it's only up to you if maybe you reach back the right hand, maybe you can get a hold of the foot or the ankle, or just reach for it. All right, exhale. Hands come on down to the mat. Let's step back to hands and knees. We'll switch that block over to the other side and step the opposite left foot forward. So finding your nice deep low lunge here. The emphasis here is on that front right hip flexor, just for a moment. And then if you want, you can pick that knee up and twist open. So again, your choice of whether you keep the knee down or lifted, but then press up out of that right shoulder, twisting open as far as you can. And then slowly, that left hand comes down, dip that right knee down. You'll bend that right knee and then just start to maybe reach back, left hand towards the foot. Maybe you hold on to the foot, maybe not, your choice. Keep pressing up out of that right shoulder. Hips come forward. And then go ahead and release. We'll come into hands and knees. Take that block to the top of your mat. Hips come back, child's pose. Couple of breaths here. A lot of emphasis on the back body today. And very slowly, we're going to come up to hands and knees, tuck those toes under. Make your way to a downward facing dog. Root the hips back and away. Maybe a slight bend to the knees. If you want to take that dog for a walk, feel free to bend one knee, straighten the other. Pedaling the legs out. Don't forget about the feet here. Raise up onto the toe on one side, press the heel to the mat on the other side, switching. And then we're gonna start to walk our feet to the front of our mat. Take your time. We're just gonna hang here in a ragdoll. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart, parallel to each other. Keep that slight knee bend and just hang heavy here. So maybe you start to sway here. We really want to get tension out of our back, out of our neck, out of our shoulders. And then on your next inhale, come on up halfway, lengthening the crown of the head. And on your exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, slight bit more bend to the knees, sit the hips back, and root to rise. We're going to come all the way up to standing. Gaze up, palms meet overhead, and then slide those hands to the heart space. So we're just going to kind of put all those little stretches into a flow. Inhale, reach up, full breath. Exhale, hinge and fold over. On your next inhale, come on up halfway. On your exhale, start to bend your knees, but we're not going to come back for plank. We're just going to start to come into a little squat here, just with the fingertips lightly to the mat. And then you're just going to take your right leg back to that lunge. Maybe keep that back right leg really strong. Plant that right hand and twist open again, opening the heart, rooting through that back right heel. Really feel that back right leg engaged. All right, now on your exhale, take that left hand down to the mat. Spread the fingers wide, step back to a full plank. So engaging the core, lengthening through the crown of the head to the heels. And then knees can stay lifted or they can dip down to the mat, but slowly lower chaturanga. Try to keep your body as horizontal as long as you possibly can. Lower all the way to the belly. And we're just gonna come on up to our forearms for a Sphinx pose. If you wanna come up to Cobra or Up Dog instead, be our guest. And then on your exhale, bring your hands back. Right along the chest so that your elbows are squeezing in towards your rib cage. Tuck your toes under. We're gonna muscle our way up to plank, slight bend to the knees, root the hips back to down dog. Couple of breaths here. One more, full inhale and full exhale. Slight bit more bend to the knees, look up to the hands, step the feet forward. Rise up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, come all the way up. Draw the navel to the spine, palms meet. Exhale, hands to the heart space. I'm just gonna pause here in our Anjali Mudra. Gauge the core, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Gonna lengthen the neck here. Just all kinds of things that we don't always think about in our mountain pose. Connect with that breath. And then we will move through the second side. Inhale, reach up, full breath. Exhale, swan dive over. Let all that breath out. Inhale, come on up halfway. On your exhale, you're folding, slight bend to the knees, light fingertips to the mat. And we're gonna step that opposite, that left leg back to the lunge. So ideally your legs are in 2 track lines. Place that left palm down to the mat and twist open to the right, really shining your heart open. Engaging that back left leg and heel. And then on your exhale, sweep this right arm all the way down to the mat. Step back plank. Your choice to keep the knees lifted or not. And slowly lower. Maybe you hover in that half push-up. And then decide if you want to go all the way down to the belly or come up to up dog. So you can come to Cobra or Up Dog from that chaturanga. And then on your exhale, tuck the toes under, press back, downward facing dog. So we'll take about 3 breaths here in our down dog. Try to even the breath out. Oh, there's my breeze, yay. Alrighty, look up to your hands. Step the feet forward. Flat back, halfway up. Exhale to fold. And inhale, root to rise. Look all the way up, standing palms meet. Maybe steeple mudra the hands here, taking the gaze up, maybe a little slight back bend. Just get a feel for how that back is feeling today. Keep lifting through the shoulders, the wrists, the fingers, and exhale, hands come to the heart space. So again, we're gonna pause here with our breath in Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. Lower those shoulders away from your ears. Couple of nice deep breaths. We're about halfway into our practice. Maybe you feel like your body is starting to warm up a bit. All right, on our next inhale, we're gonna sweep our arms up overhead and then extend through the fingertips and then just start to bend the knees. Try to keep your spine as vertical as possible here. We're coming into fierce pose. So as you bend the knees and sink your hips down, engage your core. So drawing the navel to the spine and just sit as low as you possibly can. Take another inhale, hands slide down to the heart space. And then we're going to twist to the right. Now your option, you can keep the hands at the heart space, or you can reach those arms open in your twist. And then bringing the hands back together, coming back to your chair pose, hands at the heart space. Inhale to prepare, and exhale, twist to the other side, to the left. Arms kind of open. Feel that nice open twist. And then hands come back together and fold forward towards your mat. Right fingertips, maybe a slight bend to the knees. Let the crown of the head reach down towards the mat. Nice deep forward fold. Take a look at your feet. Sometimes we're gripping with our toes. We want to feel all four corners of each foot. Maybe lift the arches of the feet if that's possible. Next inhale, come on up halfway. Flat back, gaze is still down at the ground. Exhale, fold, and then we're gonna inhale, root to rise, come all the way up. All right, so another little shoulder stretch here. Take your left hand over to the right and just give it a little pull, little traction, and then side bend over to the left side. So of course this gets into the side waist, but it also just gives a nice little traction on the shoulder. And inhale, come on up. So much of yoga is compressive to the joints, so it's kind of nice to get this length and opening. Exhale, side bend. Just a slight tug on the shoulder. And inhale, come on up. Exhale, swan dive over. Let all that breath out. Inhale, come on up halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, root to rise, all the way back up. Nice. And exhale, hands to the heart space. So we're going to move through one more vinyasa, and then we're going to come to some balancing poses. So maybe at the top of your mat, make sure that that strap is close by. And inhale, reach up. Full breath. Exhale, hinge and fold over. Inhale to your half lift. And on your exhale, light fingertips start to bend your knees. We're just going to take that right leg back, plant that right hand, twist open. Okay, now from here, stay in your twist, opening that heart, and just see if you can gently drop that right knee, almost in slow motion. Dip it down to the floor, and then maybe just bend that right knee, hand reaches back. If you need to grab a hold of that strap, feel free to do that. And then take the hand back up, release the foot, and bring the hand down to the mat. We're going to move through that vinyasa. So you can come to plank, you can come to hands and knees, or you can come to that low plank. All your choice, moving through your vinyasa with your breath. It's your practice. I'm just here giving you the options and the nuts and the bolts. And then wherever you are, take 3 connecting breaths. All right, look up to your hands, step your feet forward. And while you're in your forward fold, we're gonna go ahead and locate that strap. And we're still in our forward fold. We're gonna slide that foothold loop that we made under our right foot. And then we're gonna hold on to the end of the strap. Come on up halfway. Hands to the shins with that strap in your right hand. Exhale, fold. Now on your inhale, as if you were just gonna circle sweep those arms all the way up, you got a hold of the strap, right? So you might not be able to come up very far, like we would come all the way up, no. So let the palms stay open at the strap. And then start to bend that right knee. And then circle that elbow out to the side like we did when we were on the belly. And reach that elbow up. Let that shoulder sit into its joint. Now here you can start to kick foot into the strap. Options to take both hands to the strap. Option to walk the hands towards the foot. Just like we did on our bellies. And then slowly let that strap slide out from underneath you. And we'll take that strap out of the foot. And we're going to move through a vinyasa on the other side. Inhale, reach up, full breath. Exhale, fold. Let all that breath out. Inhale, come on up halfway, flat back. On your exhale, start to bend the knees, light fingertips. We're taking that left foot back, plant the right hand, twist open. And then with control, start to dip that left knee down. Maybe bend that left knee and the right hand reaches back. Just getting a little extra stretch into that quadricep and the hip flexor before our dancer pose. And then we're going to take the hands down. So option here for a vinyasa, you can come back to full plank or low plank. Slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend, up dog or cobra, or maybe you want that sphinx pose. Cat cow is also a great option here. And then exhale, touch the toes, downward facing dog. A couple of breaths. And then step your feet forward. And just hang here in your forward fold. So just a nice deep forward fold while you locate the strap. We'll put the strap underneath our left foot. You can tighten the strap up if you found that your foot was sliding out. And then you're going to put that strap in your palm. You're going to inhale, come on up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, start to circle sweep those arms out. Remember, you kind of get stuck right here with the palm open. And then we're going to just start to bend that right knee, left knee, excuse me. And then you're going to start to you're bringing your hand to your shoulder and you're taking your elbow out to the side. And then you're rotating in the shoulder joint to bring the elbow up towards the sky. And you can stay right here, or you can start to push foot into the strap. So there's a little bit of isometric tension going on here while you're balancing. And an option to take the second hand to the strap. Both elbows are pointing up to the ceiling. Maybe squeezing those upper arms towards your ears. Kicking gently back into the strap. Lots of back work. All right, exhale, slowly release. Take that foot out of the strap. Fold forward. Let all that breath out. Inhale, come on up halfway. On your exhale, fold. And then bend your knees like you're gonna come in to a nice deep squat. But what we really wanna do is just bring those hands down on either side of our feet. Step back to a full plank. Extend through the crown of the head, through the heels. If you have any bit of wrist or shoulder problems, feel free to dip those knees down to a low plank. Just take some of that pressure off. Slowly lower chaturanga. Keep the body as horizontal as long as you possibly can. We're gonna come all the way down to our backs. Drape our hands alongside of our hips and turn your cheek one way or the other. So really feeling that breath in your back body. You should sip in as much air as possible. Let that back body fill. See if you can smooth your breath out here. And then let's come on up to our forearms, bend our knees, and just windshield wipe. Positions from side to side. So just that gentle twisting motion. Should feel good. All righty, hands come alongside of the hips, or excuse me, the rib cage. All right, press all the way back to child's pose. So allowing the spine to round here after those back bends, maybe the thighs stay nice and close together. If they're not, maybe just rise up to hands and knees and walk the knees in close because we want to round the spine here, tuck the chin to the chest, and get that nice egg shape in our spine. And on our next inhale, come on up to hands and knees. We're going to move through a cat and cow. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, and exhale, round. Inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. One more round, inhale. Go all the way up to the collarbones, and then exhale, navel to spine, cat. And coming to a neutral spine, we're going to just very carefully take this left hand and just walk it underneath your right arm. So we're just gonna go fingertips really slowly. So you could look at your right elbow and you're bending your elbow, pointing that elbow out to the side, walking the fingertips as far as they'll go. See if you can just slowly come on down to that shoulder and then rest the temple to the mat. You can keep this right hand right in front of your face for support. So this is a twist. And if you want, you can take that right leg back, toes to the mat, reach through the heel. And only if your neck is feeling comfortable do you want to pick up that right arm. Perhaps bind it to the back. One other option for you more advanced yogis is to bend that right knee. Maybe reach the hand to the foot. Be careful that you don't unsquare the hip so you'll roll over. And release back down. We'll come out of this twist and press back to a child's pose in between sides. The thing about online yoga is I never quite realize how a pose is going to go until I'm in the middle of it. So I didn't fall that time, but maybe I will this next time. It's all good. Next inhale, come on back up to hands and knees. And we're going to take this opposite hand, the right hand. We're just fingertips walking. We really want to walk it through underneath this left armpit as far as we can. So keep walking the fingertips as you bend that left elbow. Shoulder comes down to the mat. Rest the head. You don't want any pressure on the neck or the head. Keep that left hand right in front of your face for support, at least initially, if not the whole time. The left foot comes back. Dig into those left toes. Keep the hips even. Reach that right arm up, left arm up. You can drape it behind your back. Perhaps you bend that left foot. See if you can reach hand to foot. And slowly, mindfully release the foot. Take the left hand back down to the mat. Carefully unwind. All right, take the hips back again for child's pose. Bow the head to the mat. If your forehead doesn't quite make it all the way down to the mat, sometimes mine does not, you can take your hands, stack them on top of each other, and rest your forehead on top of your hands. It just gives you that extra inch or two that you might need. Make sure that the chin stays tucked and the spine is rounded. Think about your cat pose. You want that nice round spine here. You want the breath into your back body. A lot of back body work today. You all will either be thanking me or cursing me. All right, very slowly, we're going to just gently sit up into our hero's pose. Drop the shoulders back and down. We'll take a simple twist. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, twist right. Stay nice and tall for the spine. Gently look over the shoulder. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach up. All right, on your exhale, we'll come towards hands and knees and maybe just kind of crawl, walk to the top of your mat. And you can cross the ankles and sit back, find a seated position towards the top of your mat. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here in Sukhasana, so easy pose. So I, for one, want to feel a little bit of cool breeze rooting up through the crown of the head, dropping the shoulders from the ears. Connecting with that breath. Listening to the sounds around you. And then very slowly, we'll take our feet out in front of us. And you can hug your knees to your chest here. Squeeze the knees in nice and tight. And start to engage the core. So initially you're squeezing the knees into your chest, but then after a while the core starts to kick in. And then see if you can keep those knees in close and let go with your hands. Now from here, coming into boat pose, you keep the knees in close and start to raise the heels. Maybe they just come to level of your mat, lengthen through the spine for boat pose. Squeeze the legs to the midline. All right, we're gonna slowly lower to a low boat. Go as slow as you can. We are gonna come all the way down to our back, but see if you can just do this really slow, just lowering 1/4 inch at a time. Legs, arms, heels come down, shoulder blades come down, and you are ready for Shavasana, but maybe not quite yet. So perhaps we bend our knees, and we're going to get that one upside down pigeon pose in. So cross that right ankle over the left knee, draw the left thigh in towards your chest, and you can interlace your hands behind the thigh. You can take that left heel up. Only an option if you want to keep engaging the core to draw your forehead to your knee. Perhaps you walk your hands up the leg a little higher. Maybe you can reach the foot. And then slowly release everything. And we'll switch sides. Left ankle crosses. Hands interlace behind the right thigh. So lower the shoulders here for a moment. Squeeze the thigh in towards your chest. And then reach the right heel up to the sky. And if you want that core work, forehead to the knee, hands can reach up the leg, to the calf, or the foot. Huge breeze going on here. Still happy with my decision to be outside. All right, slowly release, uncross the legs, and just windshield wipe the knees from side to side. Before we completely wind down our practice, if there's an additional pose that you would like to take, a happy baby or shoulder stand, feel free to do that. We just have a few breaths before coming into Shavasana. So start to walk your legs out long. Turn your palms up alongside of you. Wiggle those shoulder blades in underneath you. Start to close your eyes. Letting go here for Shavasana. I will guide us out in just a few moments, maybe a couple of minutes here. So take your time settling into Shavasana, letting that breath go back to its just normal pace. Letting the eyes soften. Release the jaw. And very slowly, you start to bring yourself back, inviting movement back into your hands, into your feet, maybe circling the wrists and the ankles. Perhaps take the arms overhead for a nice long stretch. And then rolling onto your side, either left or right. Pausing there for just a half a breath, just a full inhale maybe. And then on your exhale, using that top hand to press up to a seated position. Taking your time, bringing your hands together at the heart space. Just create a little bit of room between those hands. So just gentle fingertips here and just creating a little hollow space here between the hands, almost just like an energy. And I just want us to feel that connection with each other. So what I want us to do here is just rub those hands together, just create some friction, some heat. Maybe even make that nice little whooshing sound. Get really hot right here. All right. And then slowly just separate the hands and feeling that energy. This is the same energy that's connecting us throughout the universe. This is what we use in Reiki. There's nothing really secret about it. It's all there for the taking. All right. The light in me honors that same light in each one of you. Namaste. And then slowly coming up